Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today I want to really highlight one of the finest anti-war hip-hop songs of all time. And it's one that really came at the right time, at the right place. And this was the Geto Boys from the We Can't Be Stopped album from 1991. And the song is called Fuck a War. And this was released in the midst of, or just after, the original war on Iraq, sometimes called the Gulf War #1. And at that time, the mainstream was arguably even more pro-war than it was in the early months of 2003, when the longer lasting and more infamous Second War on Iraq took place. And the song not only references that, it references the war in Vietnam. And I think it's one of the most powerful anti-war songs that hip-hop artists have ever created. And the Geto Boys in general should really be thought of as a conscious rap group. Sure, they did social commentary. They did what was at the time sometimes referred to as reality rap. They did fun stuff. They did sarcastic stuff. They were always highly intelligent with their lyrics. But with this album, and this song in particular, I think they really put themselves among the finest rap groups of the era. I mean, the East Coast in the late 80s and early 90s obviously had Public Enemy. The West Coast had NWA. But the Third Coast, because they were a Houston group, they had the Geto Boys. And I think that although they have got a lot of recognition, both as the individuals who made up the Geto Boys, most notably Willie D and Bushwick Bill, but also as a collective, I think they ought to be given even more credit. I mean, this song just really hits hard, and it's almost like a PSA, a warning to the parents of those in the armed forces, and a warning to those who signed up with the best of intentions to do the best of things, that the politicians who are sending them off to war are ultimately going to get them killed for a dispute that has nothing to do with their own security, the security of their communities and their countrymen and their family. And the way that the verses are shaped, it hits really hard. And it's, again, I always come back to this: if something is memorable when you hear it one time and some element of a piece of music sticks in your head, that's one of the first litmus tests for a great work of musical art. And this song Fuck a War really fits the bill. I would read some of the lyrics, but because they're so intense, I think it might be better for you to just listen to the song itself. Luckily now, after some years where it was somewhat touch and go, all of the Geto Boys stuff is all over Spotify and all of the other streaming services. I really defy you to find another song from 1991 from a hip hop group that was mainstream, albeit conscious, but that were elevated in terms of sales and notoriety into the mainstream, that had such a poignant, direct, and powerful anti-war song. So go out and listen to Fuck a War by the Geto Boys. Put it on repeat, because that's good for them and good for you. And remember that it takes a lot to be an artist in a corrupt music industry, speaking up against the war machine, just as much as it takes that kind of courage to speak up against financial corruption and political corruption. And the Geto Boys did it all, and they did it with great style, and they did it with really memorable rhymes. Definitely check it out. Like, subscribe to this channel, and we will see you next time. Take care.